from Southern Maryland's weather leader. This is a JB Weather Report.
Good Thursday evening, Southern Maryland, and I'm Forecaster John Bordash with you in the JB Weather Center this evening, continuing to track our first potential accumulating snowfall for our southern zones as we head through Friday morning. Taking a look at live William Richmond Inc. TrueView radar this evening, we can see where our storm system is already beginning to develop. We have rain falling across portions of the deep south, with a wintry mix beginning to fall from those northern locations there in Tennessee. At the same time, we have cold air beginning to move here into the eastern third of the country. Take a look up towards the state of Indiana and Ohio. Temperatures there this evening have been falling into the 20s and teens, and that is the exact same air mass that is settling into our region overnight, and many of us will be waking up to temperatures in the 20s as the storm system begins to move in. And that's going to set the stage for potential impacts here as we head into Friday morning as the system begins to kind of track to the north. Earlier today, the National Weather Service did go ahead and issue winter weather advisories for many locations. Those areas that are shaded in purple have this advisory in effect from 4 a.m. through about 4 p.m. on Friday. And this is where we could be looking at impacts from light snow as the system begins to move in. Areas south of that purple line there through southern Maryland getting into Tidewater and central Virginia have this advisory in effect for the potential of seeing up to 1 to 3 inches of snow that could cause impacts on the morning commute as snow starts to fall during the morning hours and continues towards midday. Northern locations within this watch, areas on up towards the DC metro area, the Baltimore metro area, as well as areas like Loudoun and Montgomery counties, have this winter weather advisory in effect due to the primary threat of maybe seeing up to an inch of snow that could cause issues on those high traffic areas there on I-95, I-270, the DC and Baltimore beltways. Nevertheless, it does look like many regions, especially our southern zones, could be on tap to see their first wintry weather event of the year. Let's go ahead and take a look at high-resolution Futurecast. It just finished running and the latest information just coming in. Our model here starts snow moving into our region, getting into central Virginia just after midnight tonight and starting to move towards that Potomac River. This system today on our guidance has begun to trend a little bit further to the north and has trended a bit quicker. Initially, we were maybe looking at snow to not start till after sunrise, but our latest modeling here does suggest that snow could start as early as 2, 3, or 4 in the morning for our southern zones. Snow should definitely be in place as we start to move towards wake-up hours here on Friday. And by the time you're awake, 5, 6, or 7 in the morning, there could already be a dusting to half an inch of snow on the ground, especially for southern zones. That snow continues to fall as we head throughout the morning. We have more moderate snow falling for those areas in those deeper shades of blue. But you can see that while snow may reach as far north as Baltimore, by about 8, 9, and 10 in the morning, the snow is already beginning to come to an end. And the snow really does look to shut off as we head towards the lunch hour here on Friday. And this system really does begin to pull away during the early to mid-afternoon hours. So taking a look at the latest forecast, my final call that was issued earlier this evening, we're looking at an increase here with snow totals. I'm expecting a widespread 1 to 3 inches for our southern communities. Those are going to be areas south of Washington, D.C., south of Dover. Kind of think of U.S. Route 50 and the Bay Bridge as that dividing line, running out along I-66, really focusing on central portions of Virginia to see that 1 to 3 inches. Perhaps you see more like 3 or 4 inches in those darkest blue areas there on the ridge tops of the Blue Ridge Mountains and on out towards portions of the central Appalachian Mountains. Areas within this 1 to 3, though, could see locally higher amounts outside of that blue area, especially down towards the Richmond zone. I think between Charlottesville, Richmond, Tappahannock, that could be an area that might see slightly higher snowfall totals. But the further north you head, the lower the snow amounts are going to be. Once you get up towards DC and Baltimore, you're only looking at potentially up to an inch, with maybe some flurries falling as far north as the Mason-Dixon line, getting on over to the Philly metro area. Very limited to almost no impacts there, though. The main issue with this system and with how far north this snow can get is going to be the dry air that is really pushing southward out of Canada. That's going to help create a very tight gradient between those that see almost no snow and those that can see a couple of inches. And that gradient looks to be setting up somewhere between maybe about Waldorf in Baltimore. I think really that zone is going to be where we see that biggest kind of dividing line there for you. But again, we're going to watch everyone to have that potential for snow. And with temperatures that are going to be well below freezing tonight, getting into those 20s, anything that does fall is indeed going to stick. And that's going to bring widespread impacts for much of our local area here, getting here into Friday morning. Those areas shaded in orange, those southern locations, we'll be looking at medium impacts. 1 to 2, maybe 3 inches of snow is going to be possible down in this region. And this is where we're going to be looking at the school closures and delays being the most likely. Widespread snow-covered roadways by about early to mid-morning. But the further north you head, up towards DC, up towards Baltimore, we're looking at elevated impact. Lower snowfall totals, but there could still be slick spots, especially on those secondary roads. And that could definitely cause some traffic and school delays on up towards that region. As we're on the topic of schools, let's go ahead and take a look at the latest snow day odds. Several of our Virginia counties have already decided to go ahead and cancel classes tomorrow. As of 6 p.m., that is Spotsylvania, Caroline, King George, Westmoreland, and Essex County, as well as Northumberland County for tomorrow. That's why they have a 100% chance of a closure. But I think many of these southern zones, Culpeper County to Stafford, Charles, St. Mary's, Calvert counties, Dorchester, Wycomico, Somerset, these are also locations that have a pretty good shot at a snow day, up over 75% chance odds. There's going to be snow there at the beginning of the morning commute, and in these locations, it's likely to continue throughout the morning. So no real sense of a 2-hour delay. Further to the north, this is where you may be able to get a snow day if this system is able to definitely, kind of trick a little bit further to the north, and we can see some of those heavier bands. I'd give snow day odds about a 50-50 shot. I do think that there is definitely a chance of delays in the very least up towards Anne Arundel, PG, Prince William County. With Loudoun County schools there in Northern Virginia already deciding to delay classes by 2 hours for tomorrow. But this is a region where it could be very, very volatile, where that difference between a closure and a delay it's going to be very, very limited, that space between, and the conditions that are felt in areas in Anne Arundel County between South River to Edgewater, then from Edgewater all the way down there to about Shadyside, but Shadyside could see something completely different than areas on up towards Severna Park. These are long counties up here, and there are going to be a wide variety of impacts felt throughout the counties. So we're going to have a pretty active 12 to 18 hours on tap here across portions of the lower mid-Atlantic. I would expect some sort of impact for your morning commute for areas south of Baltimore going into tomorrow morning. Snow is likely to begin overnight as early as 2 to 3 in the morning, lingering through about the mid to late morning hours. Again, we're looking at a widespread 1 to 3 inches of snow to be likely, lesser amounts as you head to the north, and I would really be looking at that area south of DC and south of Route 50 to likely see their first inch of snow for the winter season. You're going to want to keep it tuned here to JB Weather for the latest information. I will have updates on Facebook, on X, on Instagram, on YouTube, and of course, jbweather.net. I'll have updates here throughout the rest of the evening going into tomorrow morning before I head out for my own day of teaching up here in Pennsylvania. But in the meantime, I'm Forecaster John Bordash. Thank you for tuning in this evening, and please keep it tuned right here to JB Weather for the latest information.
Check the forecast anytime online at jbweather.net.